Hello everyone. So in this video, I wanted to talk about one really important area topic that you should always keep in your mind, or maybe it should be part of your rollout, and that is exporting data out of Jira. Now, when it comes to Jira rollout, when a new team is onboarded, or maybe when you want to make Jira a success for any team, you of course will take care of lot of different things. You will of course create a project for them. You will of course understand how they work and give them a project to work on with some workflows and some configurations. And usually when we roll out Jira, we want to of course train people. We want to make sure that they know how to use the tool, because that is something that is going to be used every day. Now the thing is, and based on of course my experience, I work with a lot of people where they keep asking the same thing over and over again, and it's a problem. And to be honest, in a way, people don't really think about it. But when you hire a Jira consultant or a trainer, and if their responsibility is to train people, then training is not just about going through some content in 2 days and then you forget about it, because that is not how you can empower your users to get the most out of a tool like Jira. It has to be a regular series of sessions, or maybe some kind of a coaching. You should basically hire in your team people who know how Jira works, who can probably support those end users on a daily basis. It is usually the Scrum Masters or project managers, or someone who is managing the work. So they should definitely, so you should target them. So you should follow like the trainer approach. But one area which I wanted to talk about today is searching, and also the capability of Jira to export data out of Jira. Now I'm talking about exporting because no matter how hard you try, people will fall back to Excel. That is, of course, one very obvious reason why people want to have some export capabilities in Jira, because they want to play with the data in their own Excel sheet. And I understand. I mean, I'm not really saying that Excel is bad. It's more about if you're doing something in Excel from Jira data, use it only for reporting. Don't really start tracking your work in Excel. So if you start tracking in Excel, then of course you have mismatch, and then you will try to keep your Jira up to date, or you will not try at all, and your Jira will not really reflect the reality. Now, exporting is one such feature of Jira, which of course anyone can do. It really depends on how they're doing it, but usually people have the ability in Jira to search for issues, and when they search for issues, they so first of all, you should also teach them how to search. Of course, start with the basic search, and then of course move on to advanced search. When I train people, I talk about of course both, and actually try to spend a lot of time on searching, because if you know how to search for issues that are relevant to you, you can actually do a lot. And people always talk about reports and creating like complicated graphs and charts. I understand the need of those reports, but reports or those analytics will help you mostly in cases when you have already delivered or you are about to deliver. Basically, reports will not really always help you in the beginning. I mean, it can, but I understand reports are important. But what I'm trying to say is that when you're trying to roll out Jira, or when you're trying to use Jira, don't always in the beginning focus on getting the most perfect reports, because reporting come later on, right? Like when you start using the tool, when you have some data, then of course you can see the native reports in Jira, and you can of course then act on it. But the thing is that in most cases, in majority of cases, having like a list of items in front of you is enough. And that, and of course, let us say you're trying to deliver, right? Let us say you are doing a typical software development, and you have like a team of 10 people. You have, of course, your backlog, your Scrum board, and then you have a list of items, your issues. Just focus on on your sprint, which is, of course, you have a list of issues, or maybe your board, or maybe use the issue navigator to quickly find those issues that are in a specific status in the last 1 week or so. So if you know how to search, then you are actually quite good already. And focus on search, focus on various JQL functions. And when I train my attendees, I cover different examples. But at the same time, I always tell them, and I try to make them comfortable exporting data out of Jira. Now, it's not just about showing them, okay, click here and you forget about it. Ask them to create some sheet or a CSV, then go to Excel and then create a simple pie chart so that they know, yes, it can be done. And you have to basically hand hold in the beginning, and that is how people learn. Of course, some people are not really. I mean, when you're working with people, not everyone is technically savvy, or not everyone is quick. But if you teach them once or twice, then in most cases they know how to do it again. And especially when you're working with a big company, these things like Jira training should be part of their usual training, like onboarding training or whatever training. So if you are asking people to use a tool like Jira, then depending upon how you're using it, which team is using it, and whether your current people who are in that team or project, if they don't know Jira, do some assessment, then make a plan to get them trained, and try to, of course, have these regular proper, let us say, I'm talking about a big company where, to be honest, it is also applicable for a small company, but have like a regular catch up or regular sessions, and then also run along with your regular sessions, maybe some webinars or some weekly or monthly clinics where people can come and they can ask you any question. But at the same time, keep a channel open, not for support. Support is one totally different thing. But I'm talking about a channel where people will know that, okay, we have someone who can help us, and not just with a specific query about creating a new custom field, but it's more about upskilling themselves. For example, I may not know, if I'm a project manager, I may not know how to do something in Jira. So if I have a channel in my company where I can ask a question, then on a regular basis, I'm upskilling myself. And you can, of course, use Jira Service Desk when people raise a ticket, or Jira Service Management. I keep saying the old names, but when you're using Jira Service Management, you have the option to, of course, link it with Confluence, and then you have a wonderful self-service portal where you can deflect those questions and tickets. So the thing that I wanted to focus on in this video is the export capability, and teach them how export works, because not many people know how to export. They can probably search for information, because in Jira, whenever you click on something, you will most likely land in the issue navigator. So searching is definitely important, a key skill to learn, but exporting data from Jira is also important. So make them comfortable so that they can always export, and then they can do something with Excel, and also tell them about the pros and cons of using Excel for tracking, because of course they can, and if they're not really advanced users, then they're probably fine. But sometimes people want to just shift from Jira to Excel, and then they do their stuff in Excel and then they upload it back, which is weird. But I understand why people do it, because Excel is Excel. It is fast, it is quick, and you can manipulate data. You can have pivot tables on the fly, but they should know how to export, right? So exporting, although you have to be careful about what you're suggesting. You should be clear about the capability in Jira and let them know that, okay, yes, you can export, but also have some guidelines on how they should, or basically, I'm trying to say is that have this clear message somewhere that don't use Excel along with Jira for doing day-to-day tracking. Keep things up to date in Jira, and if they have to, click here, perform the export. Teach them how filters work, teach them how different filters can have different columns, and when they export data, of course, they have the option to export all the fields, or basically the fields that appear in those filters. At the same time, if you're using some tools like Better Excel, then you can have different templates that you can configure for those different use cases where you may need to manipulate data or do some processing when you're exporting. So yeah, that is what I wanted to talk about in this video, exporting in Jira. All right, that is it. I hope you found this video useful and you learned something new today. Thank you very much. Bye bye.